You may have recently seen a number of news stories about the city of Stevens Point must balance its debt and its capital needs, according to a number of officials, including our fine comptroller treasurer, Corey Laddick. Now, what are we talking about when we say balancing needs, debt, and capital needs? As I think it's been pointed out, the city's equalized value is an important component in calculating the city's ability to borrow money. The greater the increase in your equalized value, and again, equalized value is what is the city worth if it would put on the market today? If the big for sale sign went up, what would you sell the city for, like your home? Well, the current number in the city of Stevens Point is about $1.6 billion. It hasn't grown much in recent years for a variety of reasons, and because it hasn't grown much in recent years, the city's ability to attract new debt or to spend more money has been limited because of that. About 3% of the equalized value is what the city is allowed to borrow, or about $49.9 million. Now, many of you may realize that we're very close to that debt ceiling as outlined by city ordinance. So in order to really compare what are we going to be doing in the future with what do we need to be doing now, we have in the last 60 days embarked upon a significant plan to implement effective municipal capital plans for future capital needs in the city of Stevens Point. In essence, we have to have a plan when you have very limited access to debt. Right now, as I record this program, the city has about $14 million in available money to it. It sounds like a lot of money, but for a community this size, it really is not. And let me give you a couple of examples why it isn't. The $14 million that we currently have as debt capacity, for you numbers people, about $6 million is already obligated to programs in the year 2015. We have another obligation to spending for the grade separation or overpass on Country Club Drive of about $4 million. There is work that's going to have to be done on Business Highway 51 in the very near future. So you start to get an idea that although we have $14 million, a lot of that money has already been committed. Let me give you another example. Keep in mind the $14 million number I gave you a moment ago. Between today, here we are in 2015, and the year 2018, 4 budget years, this city has capital projects or capital improvements that we are committed to that are in excess of $17 million. I don't think you have to be a Rhodes Scholar in math to realize we don't have that kind of debt capacity. If you add in projects that are also in the pipeline for 2019 and 2020, that number grows to $22.8 million. So the critical need here is to effectively develop a plan that says what are the critical needs of the city, what are the needs that we can perhaps postpone for a few years to recover some of this debt capacity. That's a project we're working on full speed here in the city of Stevens Point. As the comptroller said in a recent news article, we're not in dire straits, but we need to be aware of the direction or trajectory, as he called it, that we were headed, and correct that to a far more fiscally responsible trajectory here in the near future.